Can you use ChatGPT to plan a trip? I'll give you my opinion as a travel expert, but before I do, I'm Brandon with the Adept Traveler, and this is Travel Explained. To stay updated on travel news, tips, tricks, and other insights, which will help you to travel like an Adept Traveler, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We frequently release new content to keep you up to date on all things travel. There's been a lot of talk over the last couple of months about ChatGPT, the natural language AI that can do some pretty amazing things. Being a travel advisor with a background in programming, of course, I had to see how well ChatGPT worked for travel planning. I used popular destinations such as Italy, France, Japan, and others, and through different prompts, I built a variety of itineraries, then compared those to some of the common itineraries for these locations. I say common itineraries because those itineraries are the itineraries most commonly used. Just about any experience or area you want to visit has already been visited by a lot of other people. Local tourism authorities, travel advisors, tour companies have all spent a lot of time throughout the years figuring out what works and what doesn't for these trips. Chances are there's already an itinerary that matches perfectly with your desired trip. Before we talk about the responses ChatGPT gave, let's talk a little bit about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Don't worry, I'm going to try to make this easy to understand. ChatGPT was created using a process called machine learning. This is basically teaching a machine to understand patterns. This is done by feeding the system a lot of data, and I mean a lot. The current ChatGPT was trained with over 45 terabytes of text data. That's roughly 9 quadrillion words. Quadrillion is the next number set after trillion, and it has 15 zeros after the number. I had to look it up. That's a lot of data. To get this massive data set, AI, the owner of ChatGPT, used the internet. You can find a lot of itineraries for pretty much any location online. When training ChatGPT, just about all of these itineraries were examined to identify patterns. There's a phrase used by programmers: garbage in, garbage out. Basically, this means if you put bad data in, or in this case, train with bad data, you're going to get bad data out. Training an AI from the internet is risky. The training process needs a lot of data. The more, the better. And it's near impossible to judge if the data is good or not when you are using 9 quadrillion words. The reason you are watching this video instead of testing ChatGPT for yourself is you want to know what a travel professional thinks of the generated itineraries. So we should talk for a minute about what is a travel advisor and how they help travelers. Travel advisors used to be called travel agents, and they used to make their money primarily from selling airfare. That started to change in the 90s with airlines cutting commissions. Later, during the dot-com bubble, the airlines cut commissions to just about nothing and then funded competition through the creation of Hotwire, Orbitz, and Kayak. The industry adjusted to this new landscape by shifting from seller of travel to helping their clients travel better. The term travel agent no longer accurately reflected what these travel professionals did, so after some thought, the American Society of Travel Advisors rebranded the term travel agent to travel advisor. The idea being that we advise and help guide our clients to the experience they are looking for. We do this by spending a lot of time on Zoom calls, webinars, online courses, and any other way we can learn more about suppliers and destinations. We take in a lot of data daily to constantly learn more and stay up to date on all things travel. So let's talk a little bit about the itineraries that ChatGPT created. I prompted ChatGPT for itineraries for specific types of travel: cultural, culinary, modern, historic. You get the idea. I then asked for trip itineraries over different lengths of time and recommendations for dining, hotels, and transportation. The results were mixed. Let's start with the good. Many of the itineraries can work. I believe this is because current itineraries used for just about any location or experience have been figured out a long time ago, then constantly refined by travel advisors, tour companies, and tourism authorities. So, if you're looking for a basic itinerary for DIY travel, ChatGPT can create a basic template from which you can grow into a nice trip. That being said, you need to be aware of a few things. The itineraries, while some were good, still needed to be thoroughly examined. I did find a few issues with cities being listed in a country that weren't actually anywhere near the country I was creating the itinerary for. Travel between locations needs to be carefully considered as well. A good itinerary takes travel into account, so an itinerary is a logical progression based on available methods of travel. Some itineraries created by ChatGPT had no practical or convenient way to get between two locations. ChatGPT is trained with data that was created up to the year 2020. Or so the system tells me. This is very important since travel changed dramatically in 2020 and is still shifting. Some of the restaurants and hotels recommended no longer are in business. The system was unaware of travel restrictions, difficulties that remain post-pandemic, or world events. There has been a lot going on in the world. Political unrest in Peru, cartel violence in Quintana Roo, Mexico, massive strikes across Europe, the war in the Ukraine, the canals in Venice, Italy drying up, and so many more that can affect travel. This is where a travel professional becomes vital. We stay updated on what's going on throughout the world that affects travel. I even create a regular video series, Today in Travel, to share some of the highlights travelers should be aware of. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. I'd recommend you do to stay updated on travel news, tips, tricks, and other insights that will help you travel better. We also know which companies are still in business, those that are providing good service, and those that aren't. For example, pre-pandemic, there was a luxury cruise line, Crystal Cruises, that was constantly ranked at the top of customer satisfaction. Unfortunately, in early 2022, they completely collapsed and was liquidated. Many of the ships were auctioned off, the few remaining ships, and the brand was purchased by Abercrombie & Kent, an amazing high-end tour company. The new Crystal will still be a luxury cruise line, but the experience will be completely different. A recommendation by ChatGPT to sail with Crystal wouldn't accurately reflect the experience the AI thinks you are looking for. Our knowledge of the industry, current events, and other factors that can affect travel are vital to having a great travel experience. While ChatGPT can help with travel planning, there is a lot more that has to go into a trip to give you the experience you are looking for. And using a travel advisor for most travel doesn't cost any more than booking yourself. In fact, thanks to our close relationship with suppliers and knowledge of the industry, we can at times even save you money. If you want to use ChatGPT to help plan your next trip, my advice would be to take the final result to a travel advisor, such as the Adept Traveler, to make sure the itinerary works. Then allow them to handle your bookings for you. Travel Explained is brought to you by the Adept Traveler, a travel agency that specializes in accessible travel. Our goal is to help all travelers, from the novice to the expert, from the able-bodied to the disabled, to travel well. Until next time, travel well, my friends.